Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Well, today I wanted to show you guys a little custom that I've been working on. Some of you guys know I've been building up an Invaders display. Marvel's Invaders, old school World War II team. And, you know, there's a lot of Invaders characters that just don't have figures. There's some that do, a lot that don't, and I really wanted to add some cool characters to my Invaders display. One of those characters is Blazing Skull. Now, this is an older character that was essentially, I believe he was like a reporter that went missing during World War II and ended up in like some cave with these like skull-headed people and like learned their ways and gained powers and then went out and started fighting against Nazis during World War II. And he's had a few different looks over the years. You know, he kind of started out as just a dude with a suit, a red suit and a cape, and kind of a skull-looking mask on with a glow around his head, and that eventually later evolved by the 1970s when he started showing up in Avengers comics into more of kind of a Ghost Rider looking character. As far as like the whole flaming skull head thing, and he does predate Ghost Rider. And then showed up again in the 90s in kind of a new interpretation of the Invaders comic that came out in the 90s. And, you know, he had the full like Ghost Rider-esque head with the red bodysuit and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the look that I wanted to go with, which is just kind of this tight red bodysuit, crossbones on the chest, Ghost Rider head, cuffed boots, cuffed gloves, basic, kind of simple, but just looks awesome. And you know, that's what I was going for, that particular look with my version of Blazing Skull. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I was able to come up with. So here we have him, and he's a fairly simple build as far as like, you know, what it required to actually do this, but not simple as far as, you know, what it took to go ahead and customize him. Now, there was no sculpting or anything like that on him. Some good paint work and figuring out how to get that crossbones piece there on his chest and everything, and I think it came out really good. I love the way he looks. I'm really happy with this one. I think he came out really nice. I love this head sculpt. So we'll just quickly kind of go through what I did to get him here. So we started off with a Red Guardian body sculpt, which uses the same body sculpt as several of the different Captain Americas that we've gotten over the years, including kind of what I think a lot of people think of as like the classic Captain America figure, which of course was the one that came out in the I believe it was the Onslaught wave, if I remember correctly. And they share the exact same body. The Red Guardian and Captain America share the exact same body, same, you know, cuffed gloves, cuffed boots, buck, everything. The only difference between the two of them is the head. They even have the same belt. So I started with that body because if you can ever start off with a color that's close to what you're gonna go for, really helps out a lot because you don't have to worry about prepping joints the way you would normally have to, which really saves a lot of time, a lot of trouble, and just in general makes for a better figure in the end. So I wanted a figure, knowing this guy was gonna be red, I wanted to go with a figure that was gonna have everything that I needed, like the boots and the gloves, the belt, be of proper stature, and be a red figure. Red Guardian was the perfect choice to go with. Now, all I really had to do with this figure was do a little bit of dyeing because the hands and the boots were actually white. Because of that, I dyed the boots and the feet and the hands. I dyed them red, and then when I got done, put everything back together. And first I did a kind of a dark tone there on all the musculature, and then just to kind of get in the grooves and everywhere like that, and then came back with the color red that I wanted, and then just went over and dry brushed the entire thing in red and give me that color that I really wanted, and made the darker tones in there really pop out on the boots, on all the muscles, everywhere, all over the back. Really give it that look that I just love the way that looks, which is something I got from a friend of mine, Collector Express. He's the one that showed me how to do that. And then as far as the belt goes, again, just painting it red, a little bit of silver there on it. Now the logo on the chest was something I actually used some vinyl craft paper. And it's just this stuff, you can buy it in rolls at Walmart. It comes in like 10-foot long rolls. It's, you know, a little thicker than a sheet of paper. It peels off, it's sticky on one side, and you can either use the adhesive that comes on it, which actually works pretty good, or you could add a little bit of glue to that. So what it is, I just took the white vinyl craft paper, rolled out a piece of it, cut out the shape I wanted for the crossbones there on the chest, and then heated it up so that it was nice and pliable, and then just pressed it on after peeling the back off and exposing the adhesive so that it actually molded to the shape of the chest. And then once I got that on there, I just checked to make sure the adhesive was good enough to stick to what I had done, and it was. And then I went from there. When I was done, I just went ahead and, you know, clear coated it and then hit it with a matte finish, and that kind of sealed the whole figure, including sealing this up over the chest. Now, as far as the head goes, I got that on eBay. That was a custom resin head that I had picked up that I just really liked the way it looked. You know, it's probably supposed to be just a Ghost Rider head, but this one in particular really looked like the drawings that I had seen in the 90s of Blazing Skull. And so I really like the way this looked. And to be honest, I mean, they basically look the same anyway. So using a Ghost Rider head to go ahead and get this guy made perfect sense. A little bit of paint, obviously. Went ahead and did the black there in the eyes and in the mouth. White over here, coat of yellow with a little bit of orange there on the flames on the head. That's pretty much it. And I mean, other than that, I mean, this didn't require any sculpting. There was no part swapping or anything like that. So, you know, this is 100% just a Red Guardian figure with a head swap. So basic paint job done on there, a little bit on the logo, head swap with a repaint there, and you've got a really cool Blazing Skull. And just to kind of throw him up with some other figures that are going to be on my Invaders shelf, we've got Captain America and Bucky. And in the comics, Blazing Skull was just as big, in fact, maybe even a little bit bigger, depending on who was drawing him, than Captain America. I mean, he was a big dude. He was a big guy. He was big, he was beefy, he's strong. He does have a few select powers that he got from the people in the cave, but in general, he's just kind of a big, beefy, fighting dude who can take a lot of damage and deal a lot of damage. And I think he looks really good here. In fact, I've put him up with several different Captain America figures because I haven't narrowed down which Captain America figure I'm going to use for my Invaders shelf yet, but I think this is one most people have, and this gives you an idea of about how big this version of Blazing Skull would be next to kind of one of the go-to standards for Captain America now. And if you take away the flames, they're pretty much the same height. Maybe Captain America's a hair taller without the flames coming off of Blazing Skull's head, but still they work really, really well together. And of course, he does tower over Bucky as he should, and I think it came out pretty damn good. So that is it, guys. That is my Blazing Skull for my Marvel Invaders shelf display that I'm going to be putting together. I hope you enjoyed it. You got any questions or comments, leave that stuff down below. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and always remember to enjoy your collection.